I think it's such a stupid take by Richard Sherman. It's such a stupid take to call Patrick Mahomes' deal a, quote, BS deal. And that to infer that Mahomes was just looking for the splashy headline, but that it wasn't that great of a contract. Because to my knowledge, Patrick Mahomes' contract paid him a lot of money, but also allowed him to be part of a winner. Patrick Mahomes, since signing that contract, has been in the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl every year. And yes, the Chiefs have had to make some difficult financial decisions, like Tyreek Hill, but for the most part, have had the money to move around in a hard cap league to remain one of the best teams in the NFL. And it is such BS to point to Patrick Mahomes and say, you owe it to Lamar Jackson to hold your team over a barrel. That's not Patrick Mahomes' responsibility. It is not up to every player in their situation individually to wring the most money out of their franchise, out of their club, so that 5 years from now, 10 years from now or whatever, they've set a precedent for everybody to get more money. That's not Mahomes' responsibility. It's not anybody's responsibility for Lamar Jackson's contract. I understand there's a brotherhood in the NFL and other sports where what you're saying is, hey, the guys that came before me went to battle with owners and GMs, and they set a table for me, and I understand being grateful for that. But nobody ever said about Tom Brady taking less in New England, you screwed it up for Josh Allen. You screwed it up for Patrick Mahomes. You screwed it up for Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. No, it was applauded. Wow, look at this. Brady is not squeezing every last red cent out of the Patriots because he wants the Patriots to have some flexibility to build a roster to be a winner. And that was the only thing that mattered to Brady. Brady, of course, didn't love the fact at the end of 20 years in New England, he was still getting nickel and dimed, and that was a reason that he had to move on. But as he was doing it, it helped the Patriots build a better roster. And we said, good on Tom Brady. The bigger picture here is, would Brady today want to be $40 million richer, or would he like to have 4 more Super Bowl wins? He chose the 4 more Super Bowl wins. And he's also filthy rich. So Richard Sherman pointing out that Patrick Mahomes didn't demand fully guaranteed money is a joke. That's not Mahomes' responsibility. If Mahomes goes, I'm going to be rich one way or the other. There's only so many Bentleys I can drive. There's only so many yachts I can have. I'd rather win every year, so let's do that instead. That shows an awareness. That shows a bigger picture of your life, of your legacy, of as you age. It's about not seeing the here and the now. I got to get every dollar out of this. So Richard Sherman's wrong. He's 100% wrong. It was never Mahomes' responsibility or cross to bear to make sure that Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, or whoever got more money. Also, the idea that he did the Chiefs a favor? Well, the Chiefs did give him $63 million fully guaranteed up front, but there's rolling guarantees over a decade, 10 years, where unless the Chiefs cut the best player in football, he's making guaranteed money every single year. You think the Chiefs are going to do that? So he signed a contract that, yes, was beneficial to the Chiefs because he didn't ring them for every last guaranteed dollar, but also made himself rich because he knows I'm going to make this guaranteed money year after year after year. It doesn't have to happen all up front. I'm going to keep getting it, but it allows us every year to sign better players. So this is a terrible take. It's 100% a terrible take by Richard Sherman, who at times says interesting things, at times just talks and sounds like an idiot. At times, Richard Sherman can say really bright, insightful things. At times, doesn't really think very much. This is a stupid take. Why is it anybody's responsibility what Lamar Jackson demands? It's Lamar Jackson's responsibility. He's not valuable enough in the ecosystem of the NFL because of a series of things. Number one, most importantly, durability, to get the contract that Deshaun Watson got. And more importantly, I'd like to hear Richard Sherman or anybody else that has played in the league point to Deshaun Watson and say, you screwed it up for Lamar Jackson. Because if Deshaun Watson lit the league on fire after he came back last year, maybe there would be more teams willing to do it this offseason. But the very small sample size of Deshaun Watson coming back after the long hiatus was, the guy stinks now. So why would I give that type of deal? And Richard Sherman should also live in this reality. It is possible that there was one bozo at the auction, and that was the Cleveland Browns. That nobody else was going to do a fully guaranteed deal for Deshaun Watson at $250 million. And it doesn't matter how great Lamar Jackson is, that it was a one-off bad deal that nobody else would have done, and that doesn't mean it's a precedent. And, Richard, even if Patrick Mahomes wrung every last cent out of the Chiefs and got $300 million guaranteed up front, it doesn't mean that the Ravens would have had to do it for Lamar Jackson, because, newsflash, Lamar ain't Patrick Mahomes. Lamar hasn't won 2 Super Bowls. When Mahomes was negotiating, he had won a Super Bowl. Lamar hasn't. Lamar hasn't been to an AFC Championship game. Mahomes gets injured, drags his leg up and down the field to play. Lamar Jackson sits out for a month and a half. So let's not confuse the two, that somehow Mahomes should have done more for Lamar. They're not the same person. That's not his responsibility. It's not his kid. He's got no skin in the game of, let me make sure 3 years from now, one of these young bucks can get all of his guaranteed money. It's not up to Mahomes. It's a terrible take.